this is gonna be a game that's gonna be a little harder to talk about. I know why? Because I need to prevent myself from doing this. Yeah, today's game is made by those delightful people. Those people who really wanted to jack off the Bomberman game of all things. And today, I will be covering that game, but I won't be doing this. Wish me luck. Now, as may be able to tell or not, Bombergirl isn't a so average Bomberman game, and you can already tell by how visually interesting the game looks. Yup, everyone in this has been transformed into some kind of girl with fairly large boobies. And it's not like if girls weren't exactly a thing before. I mean, they were. Just look at Pink Bomber. Or even one of the main characters in the Bomberman Bidaman Gaiden animes. Both of them, actually. But you get the point. Aside from the oogling and ooga ooga booga boogas, let's talk about the different modes. Okay, so where the game differs is that instead of the usual kill all the enemies in the maze, you got this 3v3 thing about getting the most of those things while avoiding the staple balloon enemies and your enemies from the opposite team. Now, you might have noticed in my footage that A, it's all in Japanese, and B, I suck at this game. Well, for A, I didn't exactly download the English patch in time, and B, I was using keyboard. It felt very off, but I eventually got used to it. But overall, I gotta say, it controlled pretty well. Your teammates, on the other hand, are not very well. Most of the time, they're usually brain dead while you get your butt kicked by the opposite team. Why? Because they bombard you with thousands and thousands of bombs. It's usually a tradition to be blown up by someone else in the Bomberman game. But not with this many bombs. And not to the point where half the time you can't even move. The designs of the characters are interesting, adding emphasis on juggies and butts. But I like how White Bomber, this version of White Bomber has two white bombers with her. The plus and that little headpin thing, which, as it turns out, can actually emote the same thing as her. You can see it when you win or lose. And the losing animation, the losing still, You know, something tells me they wanted to go all out, remove all her clothes. But they couldn't because, oh wait a minute, they wouldn't actually be able to sell that. A kind of sort of new addition to this is having 3 types of bombs. A spiky one that deals huge blows when immediately used, one with a Bomberman sticker that I never used, and another one that I also never used. I'm assuming the one on the left is the normal one that I used though. Throughout the game, you can also send out these pre-written messages, and I honestly hadn't had much use for them since I don't speak Japanese, so I don't know what any of them say. Oh yeah, speaking of Japanese, never doing that. Guess what you will be hearing throughout most of the game? No, really, go ahead, guess. The answer is on your tip of your tongue? Okay, let me show you.
さすがに恥ずかしいよ。やってくれたな。2分経過しました。
You'll get used to it.
Ha! You wish! And so do I. The audio constantly bombards you with explosions, loud music, and high screeching female voices that way. Yep, my ears are bleeding. That's real good. But guess what? This game also has a gacha system. And guess what? Yeah, it's completely random on what you get. And I don't really like whenever games include gacha because it's always a chance of luck rather than skill. And sometimes you might even get the same thing twice. Now there is one last mode, one that wasn't in any of the other arcade games I covered, and that is online mode. So it's pretty much like the single player mode except of having CPU helpers. You get actual people helping you, and the rival team are also enemies. Honestly, this mode is more serviceable than anything. Like, online modes aren't really my cup of tea, but this does the job enough. I still prefer Super Bomberman or online though. Well, that was Bombergirl, and honestly, I've played better Bomberman with online games like Super Bomberman or online, but there are also better online games like Crash Team Rumble. With that being said, I feel kind of dirty after this. I'll see you guys next month. Gonna take a shower. I feel so used.
Oh my god!